Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Common Sense Commanders, a series by Security Squared. This is part of the CMMC Chronicles mini-series, and so it is episode 2 for the mini-series and episode 7 overall for Common Sense Commanders. Today we're going to talk about how CMMC certifications are interesting. So briefly, we're going to cover what is so important about that third-party certification. We're going to discuss the differences between assurance and insurance, and then we'll see if we can, cause some people to be less confused. So first off, we just want to pause and say, for many organizations, specifically smaller businesses, but any size really, getting a CMMC certification can be a daunting uphill climb, especially with recent news about the pause for phase 2 of CMMC. So what's important about a third-party certification if it's optional? Two specific things. Having a third-party review your system is a form of risk transference for a business. Now, there are many risk professionals that may look at this and say, nope, you're not really transferring the risk. That is technically true. But we're going to dive a little bit more into the function of assurance versus insurance, and I'll talk about while it's not really risk transference, there is a portion of risk transference that we'll discuss to a higher level. And then, of course, this certification is still a competitive advantage to make more money. Some ears should be perking up at that concept. So, assurance, right? That's what this is. It's a certification of an information security system by a third party, and it's effectively a form of an assurance to the Department of War and or other upstream contractors, such as primes, that your business can protect CUI. So, oh, wait a minute, it's kind of seen as a form of insurance as well, and this is something that we've discussed, and business leadership actually considers this to be a form of insurance as well. It's a form of assurance. It also represents a less expensive insurance policy. Specifically, the top bullet point states, if you're audited by the DIBCAC after you've gotten certified, it's the C3PAO that may come under fire if you fail an audit since you already had a third-party assess your system. While ultimately you are still responsible for protecting systems, there is a similar concept regarding the cost of doing business. Basically, companies are often asked if they have an insurance provider by prospective customers or clients. This is usually highlighted in a master services agreement or in a statement of work. So the Department of War, or DoD, as well as primes and other upstream contractors, may also still ask the same. Do you have insurance? We want to make sure that your business is protected. We want to make sure that you know how to combat potential disaster or business continuity situations. We want to make sure that you know how to continue business in case something happens, and we want to make sure that you are set up correctly. So that certification, interestingly enough, can also be the same kind of concept. You are having a third party review your stuff, review your system, and they're stating, hey, everything's good to go. You can then point back at them when you're talking with a customer and say, no, we were certified. We were told that our stuff looked good. And that may actually lessen the possibility of losing a contract or some sort of line of business because, yes, you may have still had a security incident happen, but another party has said that you've done everything that you can, and so it may have been something else out of your control that caused you to have some sort of data compromise. That's why it kind of looks like insurance too. So now you're less confused, right? Effectively, CMMC certification is a validation of a system designed to protect CUI. The certification is a form of assurance, and it can be used as proof of proper business practices like having an insurance policy. So we're going to wrap it up. And yes, honestly, this one hurt a little to explain. Consulting organizations often continue to recommend that organizations go for certifications or attestation reports like CMMC, ISO 27001, SOC 2 Type 2, and more, because they are forms of assurance in the industry and often have competitive financial benefits. Yes, if you have one of these, it is a financial center to your business. It allows you to maintain current contracts with current customers, and it often allows you to go after new business with a higher competitive advantage. And finally, like an insurance policy, a certification can be used to point to the third-party assessor for validation or blame them if something fails. We don't really want to highlight that too much because ultimately we don't want an assessment organization to be blamed in the event of a failure, but they are a third-party assurance organization certifying a system based off of what you've provided them. That is the same thing that happens when you fill out a questionnaire and submit it to business insurance. Stay tuned for the next episode and just check your laundry if it was running. We just try to be helpful from time to time.